Hello and welcome to Let's Play Stardew Valley, video number 2. We're here on the morning of the third day of spring of year 1. It's a nice rainy day outside. So any day that it rains, obviously your crops don't have to be watered, which is a pretty big advantage. And you can use the weather forecast on a given day to figure out if the next day is going to have rain, and you can use that timing to your advantage to sometimes not have to water your crops. So since it's raining today, all my crops are already watered. That's going to save us a little bit of time and energy in the morning here to devote to other things. So before we continue, let's take a little look at the menus. You get to your inventory or menus by pressing Escape or E, and we see all these tabs here at the top. So I'm just going to quickly talk through what these all do. This is the inventory screen. Shows the name of your farm, your current money, and the total cumulative amount of money that you've earned on the farm. And as the playthrough continues, this number is going to get huge. Here's a picture of my character. On the right side here, we have the clothes that I'm wearing. You can customize your hat, your shirt, and your pants. And then on the left side, we have slots for boots. My character is wearing shoes or boots, but they don't have any stats. They're just like the default ones. Later on, you can get better boots that have different status effects. And then there are these 2 slots for rings. This game has a ton of these rings that give you various status effects and abilities. So I will talk about those if and when we get to collecting any of those rings. The next tab is the Skills tab. So there are 5 main skills in Stardew Valley: farming, mining, foraging, fishing, and combat. Like minigames, you level up each skill by doing the skill. For foraging in particular, chopping down trees counts as foraging, as well as picking up things off the ground. Like in the last video, we picked up the leek and the dandelions. That counts as foraging. So last night, in between days 2 and 3, I got to level 1 in foraging. And each level in all these skills has various stat bonuses or recipes that you unlock. We noticed that level 5 and 10 are like a bigger icon. That's because when you get to level 5 and then at level 10, you get to pick a speciality. I can't remember what the specialities are for foraging, but once you get to level 5, you'll get the chance to choose a branching path. I think one of them is related to better yield from trees, and the other is related to like better foraging on the ground. And then there's another choice that you can make at level 10. And it's like that for all the skills. There's like a branching path you can pick at level 5 and 10. Moving on to the next tab, we have the Social tab. So this is a list of all the townspeople. It shows us the pictures of the townspeople here. If we haven't met them yet, their names are question marks. So the vast majority of these characters we've never met before. But we have met Louis the mayor, Pierre the shopkeeper, and Robin the carpenter. There's this row of hearts. So what this is the character's affinity towards you, or how much of your friend they are, and vice versa. Every character starts at 0, which, you know, is just like they don't know you, so they're 0 out of 10 as far as friendship. The way you increase friendship is by doing little mini quests for the character that might come up, and by giving them gifts. And that's what this next column is here. See, it looks like a little present. So you can give characters gifts. You can do this twice per week. You know, twice every 7 days. And each character has a list of things that they love, things that they like, things that are okay, and then things that they hate. And this can all be looked up online, but other than that, there's no way to really know except by trial and error, and maybe a little bit of context clues that you can get from dialogue. But if you give a character something that they love or like, it will increase their friendship. And then if you give them a gift on their birthday, each of these characters has a birthday on the calendar. If you give them a gift on their birthday, it's like a 5 times bonus, or maybe 3 times bonus to whatever friendship bonus from the gift. So if you give a character something that they love on the day of their birthday, it'll jump like 3 hearts. All right. The last thing to talk about here, some of the characters have single under their name. If we go through here, we'll find that there are 6 women and 6 men that have this. So basically, long story short, if you get to a high enough friendship level with one of these eligible bachelors or bachelorettes, you can marry them. Maybe we'll do that in the game. But it's only those 6 men or 6 women that you can choose from. Like, you can't marry Lewis. He's not eligible. Talk about that more when we get to it. Next tab is the world map. We'll know more about this by exploring around, but in general, your farm is on the very western end here. Pretty cool farm. The town, which is called Pelican Town. The town is not called Stardew Valley. This whole region is called Stardew Valley. The town is just called Pelican Town. Pelican Town is in the east. To the south, we have a beach with the ocean. And then there's various like woods and little areas around in between. We got mountains up in the north and various things to explore. I don't know if you just heard that in the sound effects, but whenever it rains, there is this weird, mysterious noise that plays. Kind of this like otherworldly, like wailing sound. We'll talk more about that later. It's a little bit spooky though. Next up we have crafting. So there's a ton of crafting in this game. The vast majority of the recipes you have to unlock in some way. But by default, there are some basic ones that you can build, such as footpaths, fences, chests, torches, campfires, signs, and then a different type of footpath. Yesterday when I leveled up foraging to level 1, it unlocked, I believe, 2 recipes for me. One of them was this one here called Wild Seeds. So basically, to craft wild seeds, you need a wild horseradish, a daffodil, a leek, and a dandelion, which can all be found on the ground in spring. If you get 1 each of those, you can craft 10 of these wild seeds, and you plant them, and they grow more of those same 4 things. So if you find enough of this stuff early on in spring, you can actually start a farm made out of those forage items, which is kind of interesting. Some of them have good stats. And then there's this thing here called the field snack. So if you get one of the 3 types of tree seeds, the acorn, maple seed, and pine cone, you combine the 3 together into this like granola bar looking thing called a field snack, and you can use it to charge up your energy bar. Next tab is animals. I don't have any animals on my farm yet, so nothing to talk about yet for this. Next up is special items and powers. This is going to require more elaboration if we get to one of these. But these are basically like one-time things that you get that permanently buff your character in some way. Next up we have collections. This tab is pretty ridiculous because essentially every single item that's in the game is accounted for on this screen. They all start off as silhouettes that you can't tell exactly what it is, and the tooltip just shows question marks. But once you obtain, or I think sell one of these items for the first time, it will fill it in on this page. So you can use it as kind of like a 100% like collect them all sort of thing. Some of these things are really obscure and hard to get too. On the next sub-tab here, we have fish. You can see that there are like probably about 100 or so, maybe like 75 or 50 different types of fish. And it's just ridiculous because some fish appear in certain seasons, some fish appear in different locations only, some of them appear at certain times of the day only. So collecting all of these fish is a monumental undertaking. Next up we have artifacts. So remember in the last episode there was that little group of 3 brown stalks coming out of the ground? Sometimes if you dig on one of those you can find an artifact, which is like a little buried item. And you have to take it to the museum and donate it to the museum before the tooltip will explain what it is. But once you've collected all of them, they are showed on this page. The next tab is for minerals. This is for collecting all the different types of minerals and things that you get in the mines. We'll get to the mines later. The next tab is cooking. There's like 100 cooking recipes, and if you want you can try to cook every single recipe and it will fill them in every time you do one. Next up we have achievements. Some of these are grayed out, some of them have a tooltip that explains what it is. And then the last one is like just a collection of all the letters that you get in the mail. So if you want to go back and read all your letters, you can do it on this tab. And finally we have game options, and then the tab for quitting the game when you're finished playing. So that's the menus. Let's actually play some game here. I'm going to walk to this island to the south of my cabin and chop down this pine tree. There's that creepy sound again. It looks like it dropped 2 pine cones. When I leveled foraging to level 1, it gave me the ability to collect tree seeds. So since I just chopped a pine tree, it dropped some pine cones. So I can just plant these in the ground. They don't require any watering or anything, you just put them in the ground. And they occupy a single tile. And they take a couple of game weeks to grow. You know, maybe like 2 to 3 game weeks on average. And they don't require any maintenance, but it takes like a random amount of time for it to grow. But planting trees is highly recommended in this game because you will need wood, a lot of wood in this game. It's possible to just buy the wood in town, but I never do that because it's lame. I like to grow my own wood. collect my own wood. I don't want to just buy it. It's more fun to make it yourself. Alright, so I'm on this kind of bigger island to the west of the one that I was just on, and I'm gradually going to remove all the junk off of this island. Chop down this tree here. Drop 2 maple seeds. So I'm gonna go to this little island just to the due south of my due south of my cabin, and this is gonna be my tree isle. I'll put all my tree seeds here, and that'll be the designated place for tree seeds. I'm getting good seed drops. I think I might have a good luck today. So every day in game, there's this amount of luck. It's random every day. Some days are unlucky, some days are lucky, some days are in the middle. And the fortune teller channel tells you what the day's luck is. And luck will affect things like how good are the crops that you harvest on that day, or how good are the drops that you get from various things. And I'm pretty sure that today's luck is high because I'm getting a lot of drops from trees. Alright, so see these big stumps here? These are the 2x2 jumbo stumps. Let's try to chop one of these. Ooh. It says, your axe isn't strong enough to break the stump. So apparently I need some kind of stronger axe. I'll have to upgrade my axe somehow to get rid of those big 2x2 stumps. Alright, I think that's enough cleanup for now. Let's go and explore around the town a little bit. So I'm at the cabin. I'm going to follow this footbridge that leads north. And I appear to be on some kind of backcountry sort of trail here. I notice a leek sitting on the ground. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to keep this leek in my inventory because there's a character that you can give leeks to. One of the characters in the town has leek as their favorite item. I guess he's just a big fan of leeks. He loves that oniony taste. But if I give him a leek, it will raise his friendship score with me. So I'm going to save it for that. So I'm in the screen just to the east of the backcountry trail, and there's this big building here. This is Robin the Carpenter's house. So let's go on in here and see if she's here. Okay. Robin's at the counter. So similar to Pierre, if I want to talk to her in non-store mode, I have to go back behind the counter. Robin says, "Have you met everyone in town yet? That sounds exhausting." And I talk to her again. Oh, she doesn't have anything to say a second time. If I go to her in store mode, she can sell me various things. So in shopping, I can buy wood and stone. I can buy a recipe for a big chest. And then recipes for things like windows. I can buy chairs, dressers, tables. All this stuff can go in your house to decorate your house if you so desire. There's actually a ton of different options for that. There's also a tab for upgrading your house. Let's see what happens if I click on that. She says, I can increase the size of your house and add a kitchen. It will cost 10,000 gold, and you'll also need to provide me with 450 pieces of wood. Wow. So I have 52 gold now. I need 10,000 for this upgrade, and I need 450 pieces of wood, so it's going to take me a while for that. And then the last tab is construct farm buildings. So let's just look through these. The first thing that she can construct for us is a coop. It costs 4,000 gold, costs 300 wood and 100 stone. It says that it houses 4 coop-dwelling animals. So I don't want to spoil exactly what these animals are, but you figure that chickens can go in a coop, so that's like the first type of animal that can go in a coop. So if I want chickens on my farm, I'm going to have to build this coop first, and then I'm going to have to buy a chicken and put it in the coop. We'll get to that a bit later. The next thing is a barn. It's your nice classic red barn. This houses 4 barn-dwelling animals. It costs 6,000 gold, 350 wood, and 150 stone. And, you know, you can put basically what you think goes in a barn. Cows, pigs, a few other things. So if we want to get cows and pigs and other things going, we'll make this barn later. The next thing is a well. This is a cheaper structure, and basically it's a place where you can refill your watering can anywhere you want to on the farm, rather than having to walk to the river to do it. On my Riverlands map, there's a lot of places to refill your can, so this well is not going to be very useful on the map that I chose, or that the D6 chose. The next thing is a silo. So this is interesting. Your animals will eat grass if it's growing outside. If it's not growing outside, then they eat hay. And hay, you either buy the hay, which is expensive, or you can chop down grass that's growing on your farm and it will automatically be added to this silo. So if you have a bunch of grass growing on your farm and you have this silo, you can fill it with hay and it will feed your animals for a lot cheaper than buying the hay. Next up we have a mill, which is used for making or for milling or grinding wheat, beets, and rice. This right here is an important building. This is the shed. It is an empty building. It's actually pretty big on the inside. It's like, I want to say like 15 tiles by 10 tiles or something like that. It's a lot of space. And you can plop it down on the farm anywhere you want and go inside, and it has a ton of space inside. This is pretty useful later on in the game when we start harvesting crops and improving them with various items. Get to that later. Fish pond. It's been a while since I built one of these, but I think the way it works is you put the fish pond down and you can stock it with fish, and they will like keep themselves bred at a certain level in the fish pond. So you put a fish or two in, and then that pond is going to have a bunch of those fish, and you can just fish them out slowly. Cabin. This is used for multiplayer. It's like a second house. This is a second pet bowl. Not sure if you noticed, but kind of back behind the cabin at the farm, there's a pet bowl sitting on the ground. This here lets you build another one somewhere else on the farm if you so wish. Stable allows you to keep a horse. Slime hutch. So This is like a late game thing, but you can raise these little slimy critters called slimes. They're basically like little balls of jello that jump around. And maybe we'll build one of these later on. Here's another shipping bin. We haven't really used the shipping bin yet, but if you harvest crops, you put them in this bin, and then they get sort of converted into money overnight. This lets you build a second one at a more convenient location, and then we're back to Coop. Alright, that took a long time to explain. Let's meet some more people. Alright. This guy's name is Demetrius. He says, "Greetings, I'm Demetrius, local scientist and father. Thanks for introducing yourself. I'm studying the local plants and animals for my home laboratory. Have you met my daughter Maru? She's interested to meet you." Okay. I wonder if that's Maru over there. It is. Maru says, "Oh, aren't you the one who just moved in? I'm Maru. I've been looking forward to meeting you. You know, with a small town like this, a new face can really alter the community dynamic. It's exciting." Alright, so if I go to the social tab, now we see that Demetrius his name is filled in and his hearts are accessible. And then there's Maru there. So Maru is one of the 6 bachelorettes, by the way, in case that wasn't obvious. You can also walk around this place and look around. Kind of want to continue though. Let's head back outside. So this little cabin or house here is where Robin, Demetrius, and Maru live. Walking to the east, passing some trees. Alright, so we're here at like another mountain lake or mountain stream. I just pulled up the map and we can see where we are on the map here, sort of in the upper right quadrant of the map, north of the town and northeast of the farm. Walk over here, there's something sitting on the ground. What is this? That is a wild horseradish. It's one of the spring forage crops. Walking to the north here. Alright, so I see a little footbridge. It's blocked by a bunch of boulders. There's like a dude chopping away at the boulders. Can't really get to him to talk to him, but it looks like the entrance to a cave or a mine right there. So we'll have to come back to that. If I go back to the north of Robin's cabin, there's a path leading north, and it kind of looks like there's like a weak section of this cliff here. Very reminiscent of like a Zelda game. Kind of just want to plant like a bomb right there and blow it up, but I have a feeling that's going to be accessible at some point. There's a dude standing under the tree. Let's talk to him. His name is Linus. He says, "A stranger. Hello. Don't mind me. I just live out here alone." Linus is basically like a hermit. He lives in this yellow tent here. We can actually go inside his tent. And there's like a sleeping bag and stuff. And there's Linus on our social tab. Let's try giving Linus this horseradish and see what happens. Select the horseradish and right-click to gift it. He says, "That's a good find. I'm always happy when eating wild food. Thank you. Go back to the social tab. It didn't change my heart rating. I think it was so small of a contribution that it wasn't enough to raise it by a heart. But based on his reaction, I think he liked it. One of the X's is crossed out to indicate that I gifted him one thing out of the 2 allowed per week. And then there's this little like speech bubble thing. If I click on it, it's a gift log of Linus's favorite things. So it included the horseradish in lists of things that he likes. So now I know that Linus likes horseradish. Also tells me what his birthday is, Winter 3, or Winter the 3rd, if you will. Yep. So that's a little taste of how the gifting system works. Take a thing, right-click to give it to a NPC, and hopefully they like it or love it. Who's this fellow? We've got some kind of early 2000s emo kid here named Sebastian. He says, "Oh, you just moved in, right? Cool. Out of all the places you could live, you chose Pelican Town?" So now Sebastian, the emo kid, is filled in on my social page. My social tab, rather. He's one of the eligible bachelors. And this game does not care. If you're a dude who wants to marry a dude emo kid, you go right ahead. This game is not going to judge you. I don't think I'll be doing that, though. Alright, so I am in the north part of the town now. And there's like a little fountain here. A playground, looks like. And then this overgrown looking building with a clock on it. It says Pelican Town on it, and there's a clock. It almost looks like a town hall or something, but it's overgrown. The front door of it is locked. Walking to the south, I come out next to Pierre's. And it's getting to be 8:50 p.m. I think what I'm going to do is, it's dark, it's raining. I think I'm going to head to bed. Probably could do more clearing. I have like more than half of my energy bar, but it's basically bedtime. Let's go ahead and see what's on TV. Weather report. It's going to be clear and sunny tomorrow. That's good. Fortune teller. The spirits feel neutral today. Okay, so it wasn't a lucky day necessarily. I was just getting good seed drops on those trees. Let's head to bed. All right, let's head outside. Bright sunshiny day. Let's go ahead and get these crops watered. Eventually the watering can will get upgraded so that it can water more squares at a time. And eventually we'll get sprinklers. So the process of watering is not going to be this tedious forever. Alright, so it looks like 2 of the seeds that I planted in the tree island have turned into little tree sprouts. They have like a random chance to proceed to the next stage every day. This is based on RNG. Okay, so I'm on the southernmost part of the farm here. Go ahead and clear everything off of here. So similar to the 2x2 tree stumps, these 2x2 boulders, if I try to break them with the pickaxe, it says your pickaxe isn't strong enough to break this boulder. So I will need an upgraded an upgraded pickaxe to break those 2x2s. English. Alright. Let's take that footbridge south, away from the farm, and see what's to the south of us. So if I take this footbridge, I go 1 screen below the farm. Okay. Check the map. I'm in the lower left part of the map now. Some kind of little house here. Ah, yes. It's Marnie, I think. Let's go behind the counter to talk to her. She says, "Ah, Mayor Lewis told me about you." Or, "Mayor Lewis told me you just arrived. I'm Marnie. I sell livestock and animal care products at my ranch. You should swing by sometime." Well, I'm already here. If I go on the other side of the counter, I can interact with her in store mode. We've got supplies. This is various supplies for dealing with livestock. I'll talk about some of that later. Purchase animals. Okay, so we have some silhouettes here. None of them are available because I don't have any coops or barns or anything yet. So we'll have to come back. Explore a little bit here. Got some nice forests and meadows. I see some horseradish on the ground. Pick that up. There's a little clearing here. Some kind of something growing. These are spring onions. Alright, so I just picked up some spring onions. Now if we look at the inventory here, we notice I have 4 normal spring onions and then 1 spring onion with a gold star. So the gold star indicates the quality of the spring onion. We can see that it has different stats than the other 4 normal ones. It has like almost double the amount of energy and about double the amount of health. They also sell for more money. So there are, I believe, 4 grades of quality for every crop and every forage that you get. There's the normal that has no star. There's silver, gold, and then iridium, which is like a And there are various ways to make sure that you end up with high quality crops and high quality forage. Wow, I think they added this waterfall since I was here, since I played this game the last time. Okay, we got some kind of abandoned shack. Interesting. Off to the left here we have some kind of weird stone tower. I'm actually not going to go in there now. We'll cover that another time. On the map, it's called Wizard's Tower. Found another horseradish. Got a little lake with a dock. Probably good for fishing. We got, looks like a little girl in purple playing jump rope. Let's talk to her. Her name is Jazz, and she says, ... Hi. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I messed up again. Okay, so I believe Jazz, yeah, Jazz is one of the villagers that you have a friendship reputation with. So I think we've met like 8 or 9 people at this point. I want to say there's 30 or 40 villagers total. Is that another horseradish? Now I got 3 of them. Okay, so I'm now in the lower part of Pelican Town. And there's some houses, tiny little cemetery. Where I want to go, though, is the beach. We got a cutscene here. This is Willie, by the way, the fisherman. He's the guy that left us the letter. He says, "Ahoy there, son. Heard there was a newcomer in town. Good to finally meet ya." I'm still trying to unwind from a month on the salty seas. It was a big haul, sold a lot of good fish. Finally saved up enough to buy me a new rod. Here, I want you to have my old fishing rod. It's important to me that the art of fishing stays alive. And hey, maybe you'll buy something from the shop every once in a while. Alright. You received a bamboo pole. There's good water here in the valley, all kinds of fish. My shop's back open now, so come by if you need supplies. I'll also buy anything you catch. If it smells, it sells. Hehe, that's what my old pappy used to say anyway. And he's smoking a pipe. What a guy. Alright, so I'm here on the beach. There's like a little fish shop. Willie lives in there. A couple of docks. Guess I might as well demonstrate how fishing works in this game. So, there's different fishing poles, but the starter one is this bamboo pole. And what I do is I just go to some water and I hold down left mouse, and this like range meter comes up, and I let go if I want a long cast. Wait for the bobber to move, And then you play this little fishing mini game. What you're trying to do is keep the fish inside the bar until it catches it. Alright. So I just caught a sardine. Caption says, a common ocean fish. And I can eat it for energy if I so desire. Let's try another. Oop, 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 oop. Looks like I caught another sardine, but a smaller one. I think I'm going to eat the smaller sardine for energy. Okay. Here on the beach. There is stuff to pick up on the beach. We've got some like clamshell looking things. Maybe a mussel shell. But what I really want is this little brown stock spot here. So I'm gonna dig right there and see what I can find. Oh, it was just a rock. Gonna pick this up. That is a mussel. I think I'm going to head home. Met some people today. Got a fishing pole. I would like to see what I can catch on my farm itself. In the Riverland farm, you're supposed to be able to catch better fish on the farm than you usually can. So I'd like to try that out. Need to clear some inventory space first. Alright, so the horseradish. The leek, the sardine, and the mussel I'm going to sell. I'm going to keep the spring onions because they're kind of rare and I think I can use them in a recipe at some point. So I got my fishing pole. Let's go ahead and try it here, just to the south of my cabin. Okay, I caught a 6-inch sunfish. Caption says it's a common river fish. I got a smallmouth bass. A freshwater fish that is very sensitive to pollution. Oops. Well, I didn't mean to do that cast, but I might as well catch the fish. Sometimes it takes a while to get a bite. I got a bream, a fairly common river fish that becomes active at night. I'm going to sell all those fish. And I think I'm going to use the rest of my energy to clear some junk just to the west of the cabin here. smart tree. So I got a maple seed and an acorn, 2 acorns. Go ahead and plant these on the little tree island here. And then I got a mixed seed, which is a random spring crop. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant that and water it. And then off to bed, I believe. Check the TV first, like always. Weather report says it's going to be clear and sunny all day tomorrow. Fortune teller. The spirits are very displeased today. They will do their best to make your life difficult. Living off the land. Welcome to Living Off the Land. We're back again with another tip for y'all. Now listen up. This one's for you folks living in Stardew Valley. Check for spring onions southwest of town where the river meets the ocean. You can sometimes find a whole bunch growing right out of the dirt. Nice. Those are the spring onions that I already found. Alright, I guess that's about it. Go to sleep. So, if you put items in the bin next to your cabin, they will get sold during the night, and the game gives you this little breakdown. So for foraging items, I sold some horseradish, spring onions, and leeks, and I ended up with 230 gold. And then for fishing, I sold all those fish that I caught plus the mussel, so I got a total of 435 gold. Alright, so that concludes year 1, spring the 4th. That's going to wrap it up. Peace.